Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson and Miguda here. Miguda, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very fine, sir. How about you?
I'm doing great. How was your weekend?
My weekend has been great. My weekend was great as usual.
Yeah.
Part of it I spent in church, part of it I spent outside, but it has been good,
Mm-hmm.
and we are so much happy as young people because we are back to square one as a nation after we have lost AUC.
So, what do you mean by young people? You're back to square one as a nation?
Yeah, some people wanted it to go the way it has gone,
Mm-hmm.
and as young people, they wanted everybody to be included in the struggle.
Yeah.
Because in the struggle, we believe that not only us we are capable, but there are those people who have been there before, the veterans. These
Yeah.
veterans were not supposed to be outside the country. They were supposed to be here. We struggled together as young people. Inclusivity of the veterans. That's what I mean by we are very happy because one of the veterans is now back home to engage people and also to play his role, which is well known.
Where are we missing the point, especially when majority of people are celebrating and that Raila should come back and play his role, yet them themselves as the citizen, they also should take part in playing those roles that Raila Odinga they want him to play. Why do we celebrate that? Does it mean that as a country we do not have people who can take up the roles apart from Raila Amolo Odinga?
As a country, we have people, many people can take role,
Yeah.
the similar role Raila is playing. But the challenge comes is now, Raila's been in this struggle for a long time, unlike some of us. Because me, I cannot equal Raila, and you cannot compare with Raila. If I want to engage in this struggle first, Raila got a certain constituency where he commands. Raila
Yes.
can give direction to people to follow. That's why I told you earlier that we are very happy because he is back, because he's one of the few people in this country that can control a certain constituency, unlike some of us.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you left for the young people to do it alone, young people cannot control certain people because there have been push and pull, whereby older people also view that young people are going too far in this struggle. They are viewing that young people should stop when they reach a certain destination, they should stop. That's why I say Raila has his credential. Raila at the same time, the people follow him.
Mhm.
When he comes back into the country, it will
Mhm.
be a plus for the revolution, or it will be a plus for the struggle, since he can give directions. There are things that Raila can call out like actions, and they can be stopped immediately. There are things that can be called out Raila like corruption, and it also there is how Raila can talk to a language whereby the government can do him. We are not ruling him out. In short, we are not ruling him out. We are just saying it's part and parcel of the struggle. There is no need for ruling him out.
Okay, thank you so much. You know why the reason why I tend to disagree with you on this is that we are having notion, or we are believing that okay, Raila is back and Raila should think the same way we think. What if he's coming back and he thinks otherwise, or maybe decide to support or the way they're having broad-based government? And that is something that also we need to talk about in this podcast right now. And he thinks otherwise, you know, because there is that notion in which like people think like there's a way Raila is going to think while they want to think. You're talking
We
of
have to agree. We will have to agree on this point. We will have to agree on this point.
let
Because
me
the reason why I'm saying that,
yeah,
well,
go
have
ahead.
you finished?
Yeah,
This is why I'm saying, this is why I was saying
mhm,
we need Raila back
yeah.
to assist people in this struggle. It's very important because by the time we were alone,
Mhm,
before the impeachment of
mhm,
Gachagua was not part of the struggle.
yeah.
But once Gachagua was impeached, he
Yeah.
became part and parcel of the struggle. He was welcome home. Similarly, Raila can be welcome home the way Gachagua was welcome home. Right
Yeah.
now, Gachagua is speaking the language of the people. What is this wrong about Raila when he speaks the language of the people? The fact that he was supported by Mr. Ruto doesn't mean that he cannot come back to engage in the struggle. Gachagua was speaking the language of William Ruto before impeachment. After impeachment, Gachagua is currently speaking our language. That's what I'm trying to say, that whenever we are in a struggle, we need everybody. There's no need of excluding somebody because he lost or because he supported or stabilized the KK government. Even Gachaga was part of that government, but once he was kicked out,
Yeah.
currently is helping people to fight that government. So there is no reason for castigating Raila all the time. We also need to give him space, and also this is why I'm saying it is because Raila is a veteran. That's why you cannot rule out. And there are things Raila can do which I cannot do, or young people cannot do.
True.
If they are positive to the nation, let us allow him to do them. But
Yeah.
if those activities are derailing our activities, then we are at liberty to oppose him. But for now, I'm saying it is good that he's back domestically to participate in the long struggle for freedom as a country, because this freedom is all for everybody, including Mr. William Ruto. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Let's flip the coin, because let's just flip the coin and bring it this way and say, okay, because like the majority of assumption is that now Raila is coming back and is going to play that opposition role. And rather than going to AU that he was campaigning for, let's flip the coin and flip the coin and say that, okay, if Raila comes back and he decides to take a low profile and say, okay, I've done a much for this country and let me just go and relax home. How about that?
There's no problem. He has his political decision he can make. He can come back and decide
Yeah.
to go and relax at home. We have no problem with that. What I was saying,
Mm.
Raila coming back home, no one is compelling him to play either role. It's up to him to decide whether he's going to join government, whether he's going to be in opposition, whether he's going to join the struggle, whether he's going to relax at home. That is up to him. But we are not compelling him. What we are just suggesting is that
Yeah.
if at all his loss for the AUC can be beneficial to the struggle of the nation, then we are welcoming to the struggle. That's what I was trying to clarify. Not that he must come back and join the struggle. He doesn't need to come back and join the struggle. It's not a must.
Yeah. So and that's now answer my question and conclude that nobody should say that now he's coming back home be part of the struggle. The decision will be lying with him, and he will decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And thank you so much for that clarification. There's so many things that is happening, including the what happened over the weekend, and there are so many reactions that we saw from the results itself, and so many people are going to to like so many people have taken directions, and their conversation also is going, and there's also that political landscape too is forming. Now, let's look at it this way, because the main beneficiary, or the people who I would say that so much impact of this was about the President William Ruto was part of this because of what he did. Because I was seeing in the papers that a total of 13 billion were used just for this campaign, which means a lot was invested. And even Raila Odinga traveling across Africa, you know, tells you a lot how this was very important. And also, there's so many things that also we've learned from what happened, where um, majority of Kenyan went to the Addis Ababa to offer that support to Baba, where people are criticizing on how they were on the street and singing, and they said that that was uncalled for as compared to the Djibouti president on how they carried out themselves. That is the opinion of the people. But now let's come and look beyond the AUC defeat of Raila Odinga. What are you seeing for President William Ruto and Raila Odinga in terms of Kenyan politics?
Both of them have different parting ways. after
Yes.
the loss of the AUC. Mr. William Ruto first, invested so much in Raila's campaign. And according to him, he wanted Raila to win. Raila's victory was going to play a very vital role for Mr. Ruto's forthcoming election. And currently, he's disappointed. And as a shrewd politician, once he's disappointed, he must have some strategic plans ahead.
Yeah.
And one of the strategic plans I heard from his allies, particularly those leaders from the Rift Valley, I heard them today very early in the morning around 8. Some of them were saying people like Nelson Kohech, people like Cherargei, there's one called Kimaiyo. They were all over talking about we can discuss how we can form the structure of the government to incorporate Raila. They were talking about NADCO report. They were talking about bringing BBI2. They talk about prime minister position. That's the clear evidence that they invested so much in Odinga that their 2017 election
Mhm.
was depending on Raila's victory at the AUC.
Yeah.
Now, because Raila has lost, they are holding on to him. They want to call on, they don't want to let him go. That is according to William Ruto. Therefore, they want to do anything humanly possible to return Raila into their camp for the forthcoming election because Mlima alichoma, Mlima imeenda. To Raila has got so many options because it's not a must that he become the president. And
Yeah.
even he said that according to this, he's not a must be, and currently he's not defending any seat. He can decide to join Ruto's camp and give Ruto a second term. He can decide to defend the position of the ODM expert in the executive. He can decide to also oppose William Ruto outside the UK or outside the so-called Azimio. He can
Yeah.
even form alliance with like-minded people. He can go ahead and form alliance with other people. Or he can retain his position as Azimio and also go for the ballot. Because Raila also is under pressure currently. His supporters, those who are diehard of Raila from Kondele, those those commoners, they want to see Raila on the ballot. They say that they want Raila to be on the ballot. They want Raila to vie for the forthcoming election. It means now Raila has got several options after losing the AUC. It's up to him now to decide where he's going to land on and depending on his political future, how he has planned it before, and how he wants it to end. Therefore, Raila's got so many options. He can decide to do whatever he wants to do. But for Ruto, currently he's just clinging on Raila. And that's the plan B for William Ruto.
Okay. Thank you so much. I quite much have different view, especially based on if I look at how politics has always been in the country, especially with uh, with uh, with the politics of Raila and the politics of Kenya, because one, I think the outcome. Hey, Makobura, how are you doing? Hello, Makobura, are you getting me?
Yes, yes. Good evening. I'm doing good. I thank
Yeah.
God. How are you doing over there?
We are managing as right now. We are just having a conversation, and we are looking at uh, what really transpired and what suggestion that people are giving. Right now, people are having the different opinions. Some people, the blame game is there. The reason why Raila lost, and the blame game is there. So we are not going to look at the blame game and the some of the points that people are pointing out that led to Raila's defeat. But we're looking at beyond the AUC bid or beyond the AUC defeat. What is therefore President William Ruto? And Miguda has just talked about few of them. But before I bring you in, there's my observation is this. I think going forward, this is what I'm going to see, because based on how is being said that the president gave it all to the Right Honorable Prime Minister. This is a journey that is going to give birth to a new coalition. And will be between the ODM and President William Ruto allies as time goes. And the reason why I'm saying so is because we've always seen it happening. Remember when the BBI came and the BBI came and Raila became the face of the BBI, especially walking around the country and collecting those signatures and giving people the reason why. And there's so many memoranda that were collected on all these counties, and they came together and brought them together. Then from there, because they believe that nobody can implement such um, policies or that memorandum, but Raila could be the best person for it. So he was given that. But in the event, during even the initial stages of BBI, there's some technicalities, especially when it comes to the constitution, were being asked. Remember when they wanted to introduce constituencies in the parliament, which means was against the law on how it should be so, such like that. And when you look at the AUC too, something happened because there are people who had see this before and say, no, it is not working, putting in the, let's say, our policies, especially it comes to the foreign policies, on how do we work when it comes to the foreign policies. So that one is now informing me that immediately after this loss, this is going to give birth to a political party. That is one thing that I'm looking at. Another thing is that when you look at the political circle too, I think President William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta have found a way of engaging Raila Odinga, knowing very well that sometimes they might not win. So to keep him busy, as you keep him busy, and the politics go on, because you know that Raila is a force to reckon with. So Uhuru did it by bringing BBI. So I think that President William Ruto also brought it to Raila Odinga to concentrate on the AUC, knowing very well that the outcome might be not so much good. So the way to engage Raila Odinga. So all this is pointing at formation of a coalition that is going to come. And if so, I think the Raila Odinga will reap big in that coalition. Raila will not going to run, but the majority of his allies will get good positions in those coalition, including the position of the deputy president. That is my thought.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. My take to that would be a little bit different.
Yeah.
There are two scenarios that I'm seeing here. One, if you remember the comment of Raila saying that I'm going back home, there are so many other things that I need to do. Again, if you followed the reaction of the Republic of Kenya, whether in the Mount Kenya, in the Rift Valley, or in the Nyanza region, most of them were saying that we want Raila back. And if you listen again to them, their main concerns were, they were saying that cost of living is too high, that there are so many problems that we are facing as a country, the issues to do with abductions here and there, and more of a political dictatorship is among the list of things that they gave. And they're saying that we want Raila back so that he can come and solve or give solutions to these problems. So partly if he comes, so now he's back, he has an option of either heeding to the call of the citizens of the Republic of Kenya, whereby he'll join the majority who are saying that we need you back to continue with the struggle that you had started, the struggle of liberating the people of Kenya, the struggles which include, reduction of the cost of commodities in the Republic, fighting for the rights of the people of Kenya, fighting for the injustices, among others, as they had mentioned. So he has that a chance of either accepting that call and following the calls of the majority, who are the youths. If you had those who are speaking, more of them were Mama Mboga, watu boda boda. Again, if you watched, especially those who are being interviewed in the Mount Kenya region, they were saying that this government has really not done well, that this government has made their lives more tough. And they're saying that they were praying that Raila should not succeed in AUC so that he can come back. At least, according to them, if Raila suppose was around, they would not be seeing issues to do with abductions. They would not be seeing high cost of living. They would not be seeing intolerance in the government or the political class. So that is option one.
Before you continue on your argument, sorry to cut you short. Yeah, do you believe in that?
I don't believe in that. I'm simply giving two scenarios which are possible. And that's why I said that there are two possibilities.
Okay, thank you.
He is a politician. Remember, politicians always follow or goes for what they believe or think might give them more mileage or might make them get accepted by the people. So that is one scenario. Number two, he has an option of continuing to work with the government. Again, if you remember the comment that he said that the President Ruto has really done his best to ensure that I get up to this point. And according to him, he said that there are so many people who are saying that, oh, the president was lying to me, the president was not genuine, such kind of comments. And according to him, he's saying that he was really genuine and he did everything. Again, if you followed close allies of William Samoei Ruto, the likes of majority party leader or minority, that's Honorable the senator of Kericho, Aaron Cheriot. Yeah, if you saw his comments, and also if you saw the comments of close allies, the likes of Junet, the likes of Millie Odhiambo, the likes of Senator of Kisumu, Professor Tom, and also if you saw the comments of Kisii Governor Simbarati, they were very particular. They were saying that Raila, president has done well, and they meant well. And according to them, if you followed their, conversation or comments, in a way, they were trying to say that they're going to stick supporting this government because they felt the support of the president. And that would mean that there's a possibility of Raila's camp continuing to work together with the government. And again, if you've been keen again, today there's something that is being worked on behind the scene, and they're saying that there's a possibility of them coming up with the position of prime minister, and that is actually sponsored or supported by one Belgut member of parliament. It's called, what is his name? Korir somebody.
Nelson Koech.
Nelson Koech, the Belgut.
Nelson Koech. So that can also clarify my scenario too, and it can also support that, because them trying to come up, if you had the reason why they're saying that they're coming up with this is that they're saying that Raila has so much wisdom, he has so much knowledge in leadership, he has so much that he would have offered at the African continental level. But since that chance is not there, they cannot just let him go and retire. They want him active and in a position that he can influence what is being done in the country.
Okay, thank you so much. And speaking of about the prime minister, because they were thinking of reviving the NADCO, but if it is true that they now recognize that the Raila Odinga has so much wealth that they cannot, in terms of information and in governance, why then during the BBI they were opposed even to that post that they now want to create? That is one. And you will answer that to Meguda and Makoburam. And another thing also I want us to look at, when the broad-based government was formulated or was formed, when they came together and formed the broad-based, it was one of the uh, broad-based that was not very popular as compared even to the handshake. You know, this one was not very popular because like so many people did not buy it. But now, what is happening with what has happened, and this one has pushed the emotions of the people based on the reaction. And do you feel this one is going to make, especially those who are in Raila camp, now to start embracing the broad based because based on what Ruto has done and based on how the celebration and the pronouncements were coming from different sections of the country, which has taken the political or tribal politics along the line. Do you think this one is going to make it quite much now easier for the acceptance of broad-based government amongst the Raila Odinga supporters who are not buying it? Migoda?
First, let me respond to the issue you have talked about, the issue of why is it that currently they are seeing that medical report or BBI report was so good and they want to implement it now, but the other time they opposed to it. I believe that is interest. At the same time, what we have been saying here that you cannot make or you cannot amend constitution for an individual. There's no way you can wake up in the morning that I want to amend the constitution of Kenya to fit an individual into a certain position. Therefore, or you cannot make a constitution or amend it that you want to bar somebody from running. The way they are saying they want to bar Raila from running for presidency because of the age. They want to introduce that age limit for running for the presidency. There is no room for amending the constitution for an individual. And it brings me to my point that even legislatures, once you are in the parliament, always don't make a law or don't make laws that are oppressive to the people or are oppressive to the minority or the opponent, because the same very laws will be applicable to you in the future. The people who are opposed to BBI, currently they are seeing the significance of BBI. Currently they are seeing the importance of BBI. And right now they want it like no one's business. They want it to come back. That should be a lesson to politicians that whenever you have an opportunity to serve the people of Kenya, never ever in your life support any law or any bill that is oppressive to the minority or oppressive to the people. At the same time, whenever there's something good that has come, like amendment of the constitution, which is good, inclusivity, support it. Do not oppose it based on the basics that it does not satisfy your current political formation. That would be my advice. Then lastly, the people of ODM, in my view, like the way I know them, though me, I'm not a member of ODM, but I can. My good friends are from ODM, and also some relatives are in ODM. The people of ODM, in my view, if once Raila will come back to the country or come back to his senses and make a decision going forward, I still believe that those ODM guys will just follow Baba wherever he will go. If you will tell the people that right now, let us finish our business with the broad-based government because our members are in the executive, the people will automatically follow whatever Baba said. They'll follow the command of Baba. That's how they usually do. But there's section of people, there's small section of people which are not going to subscribe to Baba's school of thought. And those people might be like a swing vote. There might be a swing constituency in Baba's constituency, those people. But let me tell you, the people who are happy, and these people don't want to talk about it. The people who are happy when Baba lost were the ODM elected members of parliament, particularly from the Luo Nyanza, because they are used to Raila is going to carry their hands, Raila is going to campaign for them, and even governors. Minus Raila, they can face a very terrible campaigns in the Nyanza region and they won't like it. They know very well they don't work with the people, they don't legislate, they're just buying time. Come 2027, they'll just go to Baba carry their hands, and people will say, Baba akisema, imeisha hivyo, machungwa ni sita. Those are the people who are happy. They were just lying to Baba in the camera that, Baba, we have lost this thing. But according to me, they were very happy now because they are lazy people. They believe that Baba will take them to parliament, Baba will take them to be governors, Baba will take them to be senators. They were extremely happy and like the supporters. That is what I can tell you because they were happy because Baba lost.
Yep.
The very people cannot oppose Raila because they know the benefits of going where Raila has pointed. If Raila said that let us go to the broad-based government, they'll follow Raila because they know very well that they will be given tickets. That's why I'm telling you that the people who will not follow Baba are a certain small constituents within ODM, but there are also those young thugs like us, like me and some of my friends. The young thugs are not ready to board that train. And even you have came across some tweets, some texts on the X space where young people are expressing their opinion. They are not ready to board those old tactics. We are going to start a new political path, but I can assure you, for those people who believe in those tickets, those people who worship Baba, those people who believe that Raila Baba Mwana Rom Takatifu, they will go where Raila is. That I can assure you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me, Makobura, I know you are coming in. Let me just take this opportunity to thank Gibson Connor, Judith, and Brenda for watching. And I believe and I hope that you are doing well. And this is the comment: read the game. And when I used to say that Raila was not going anywhere, people were laughing. He is invisible in Ruto's government. BBI NADCO sent a strong message to the ones left behind Ruto stroke Raila. So that is something that people are talking about. Um, um, Marco Bura, just go. The first question that I ask, the two questions that I ask, you can give your opinion. Then I will also engage Miguda on some other area he has talked about. Yes.
Okay. The first question that you asked was why is it that they're not trying to bring the prime minister at this point?
Yeah.
I think the ans and they opposed it during the BBI. I remember President William Ruto and his close allies they seriously opposed the BBI in broad daylight. And I remember the president then, he was a deputy, he came and said very well that this is not necessary at this point and that there are so many problems which are affecting the people of Kenya. And according to him, he said that BBI was something that was beneficial to the political class and he would not support. And he would not support. And I remember his close ally, by then the senator of Elgeyo Marakwet, Kipchumba Murkomen,
Mhm.
was also very particular. He stood up and people shouted him, close allies of Raila and Ruto. And he spoke very seriously and said that we cannot support BBI and will never, because it is something that has been engineered by the political class and it is beneficial to the political class.
Yeah.
Today, they are on the other side. And today, they're the ones who are trying to bring back the NADCO report. The difference here is the circumstances have changed, and where they are the drivers. They cannot survive, according to them, without consistent resistance from Raila and his close allies. And for that reason, they've seen it twice to engage him and ensure that they put him closer so that they can observe him at a closer angle, so that they can get the opportunity to continue running the government, because they know very well that with the resistance of Raila, it is tough to navigate the terrains or the political terrains of the Republic of Kenya. So they're accepting that. And because it is tough for them to manage, they have decided that we have to onboard him. And of course, onboarding Raila is not easy. It comes with price. And part of the price is you have to go out of your way to try bring something unique or try change the constitution to ensure that his ego or his needs well put in constitution and that they are valid and that they are legal. So that is the difference. I've answered that. So number two, you asked if it is going to be, what was the second question? If what was the second, kindly remind me.
If those who are Baba Dahers are going to follow his direction, particularly to the broad-based government?
Okay, the fanatical supporters of Raila Amolo Odinga, if Baba says right, they will always go right. If it is left, they will always go left. But again, we have to accept one fact that within ODM, we saw some cracks within the ODM. So this time around, we want to see the power of one Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. If he manages to bring back the likes of Baba Win, the likes of Phone, and the likes of Kaloma, and they make these political people to think in one direction, to reason together, to speak in one term, then personally I will accept, and I would maybe call him the political enigma of the continent of Africa. But if that fails, to me, I would still, of course, things are still going on. There's a possibility of change. With what we had seen before, there are people with these laws. There are people who are now going back to the drawing board, the likes of Baba Wino, because they were seeing a possibility of Baba exiting, and then they would take up they would fill the gap. Now they have to go back to the drawing board and find a way to resonate, of course, well, or they make a decision of parting their own way or following, breaking their own way, a way that would not be easy, of course, with while Raila is still there.
Okay, thank you so much, and for that. And Miguda, you talked about creating positions for an individual, or an amending constitution just to bar somebody or to act like a strategy to make it very harder for any person or your competitor to compete with you at the expenses of your interest, but not at the party's interest. Do you think as a country sometimes we limit ourselves not to think outside the box because we agree that as a country Raila has contributed a lot, but every time when situations like this comes, we still believe that we cannot do it and we have to put Raila in the forefront. Then if he doesn't get our expectation, we end up accusing him or not praising what he's doing. Secondly, there's this the issue of tribalism that also it's emerging. Especially, I want to bring you back and I want you to weigh when President William Ruto was running against the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. When the Prime Minister lost, especially people from Mount Kenya really celebrated it, and now again, Prime Minister lost on the AUC again. Then we are seeing they celebrated. Some of them celebrated, but now this celebration is kind of like quite much different. It's now that tribal exchange between the Luo community and the central. At what point should we draw the line that we say that my celebration is not tribal, or my, where we do that?
First, the issue of amendment of the constitution to an individual. The reason why I'm opposed to it is because once you amend the constitution for an individual, there are many scenarios can play. First, why do you amend constitution? For instance, if it is amendment of the constitution, like you want to touch the structure of the governance, like the issue of the Kenyan case in the constitution, it is so-called popular initiative. If it's a popular initiative, it should come from the people, because currently people have not talked about prime minister. People haven't talked about amending the constitution, but because we want to fit an individual interest, therefore they are bringing for us that amendment through the back door. What if the team Raila and Ruto failed and some people came to power? If that position was exclusively meant for Raila, and that other team will also have to fill the prime minister into their structure formation. It means that this thing called prime minister, it is not popular. It is not popular amendment of the constitution. It's not a popular initiative. It is not coming from the people. It's not organic. It's because of the political interest. That is why mostly people do say that there is no need of amending the constitution to fit an individual because we are a constitutional democracy state. What if next time Raila is not in politics? Because Raila will not be there forever. At one point in life, he must exit. If this position was solely created for Raila and now he exits politics, who will be occupying this position? Those are the questions we should ask as the people before doing these things like NADCO 2 or PBI 2. The question is, why now? Because even if they could have passed that BBI, Raila was defeated by Ruto. It means Ruto could be right now having a prime minister from somewhere else, maybe Msindavadi. It means now they could have a prime minister. But because these people know that Raila cannot take an office which is unconstitutional, like the prime cabinet secretary, now they want to put that prime minister into the constitution, in my view. That's why they were rushing. If you had, I'm just reporting from what I heard, if you had those APs from Kalenjin Nation, they just insist on BBI and they're insisting, people like I can quote Nelson Kohech, Chiragay, who has been a long critic of Ruto, today is an ally to do that. Let us bring Raila as a prime minister. Let us see how we can amend the structure of the government to bring Raila back as a prime minister because Raila has a role to play. And that's now answering your question about limitation. Kenyan people, must Raila be the prime minister for Kenya to run? That's the question we are asking. Raila left being prime minister in 2013 when Kibaki went home. Raila has never become prime minister, and Kenya has been running. People have been paying taxes, government has been operating as usual, but it's never prime minister. This narrative, all this myth of Raila must become prime minister for the country to run, in my view, I'm opposed to it. Country can move on minus Raila being prime minister. He can use his skills and his experience as a veteran to advise the government outside because he loves the country. If he's really a patriotic citizen, he doesn't need to be in the government. The way he said that is a true Pan-Africanist, and that is why he had to drop out when they were in the 6th round to give way for young person Mahamud to be the AU's chairperson. That same spirit of Pan-Africanist, he can use that same spirit here of patriotism to shelve away his ambition to allow other Kenyans to serve, and he can use his experience, his age, whatever he's having, his credentials, to advise outside government. This narrative that Raila must be the government for it to run, it doesn't add up. That is just personal interest and political greed and political selfish. Because at one point in life, Raila will not be in those whatever you call structure, prime minister, president, and the country will run. Raila was never there when Kenyatta was the president. Kenya used to move on. Raila was not there when Moi used to be president. Kenya used to move on. This myth should stop, and they should not touch this constitution because of selfish or greed of an individual. And you understand, Kenyans will meet them the way Kenya met them previously, and our courts are very strict when you want to touch the constitution. I have no worry about that issue. The issue of tribalism, which you have asked me, let me answer you. This thing was by design, Brother Benson. And you talked about it for several times in this channel that why is it that now these people are having a different narrative from the previous narrative during campaigns? Because the previous narrative was about Atlas versus Dynasty. It was about Atlas versus Dynasty. Ruto was talking about bottom up. Raila was talking about trickle down. Trickle down, bottom up, they are dead. Right now, people are just talking about tribalism. And they have designed it to an extent that even after Raila has lost AUC, it just comes naturally into the minds of the electorate. And that is why the people of Mount Kenya were just happy that Raila has lost. And now it has given them podium to argue as politicians that we told you these people are tribal people. When Raila lost, they were celebrating. Why do you celebrate when your fellow Kenya lost? They're just trying to drive that narrative of ukabila ya kwamba our team, as Team Ruto, we are for unity, unifying the country. As the Team Rigiji and the allies are for ukabila. That is the narrative they want to drive for the 2027 election. That's why I told you it was by design. And that's why they had no option but to impeach Rigathi Gachagua on that basis of tribalism for them to give them platform and podium to campaign for 2027 on the ground of Mkabila, Nasim Kabila, because they know Kenyans will question them. Kenyans will ask them for accountability that you previously talked about bottom up. There is no bottom up we are seeing you delivering. What has changed that people don't talk about bottom up? And even if you argue that the opposition team were left outside, but they donated their expert into the executive, why can this expert bring the trickle down to the country, to the government? The trickle down is dead. The bottom up is dead. Right now, everybody, even including the experts, are talking about yule jamaa wa Mkabila mlimfukuza nyumbani. And this person of Kabila is also talking about Ruto anagawa watu wa Mount Kenya kwa Wakenya wengine. Now, according to me, this person who plotted this thing by design to work for 27 is a genius politician because it has made it to the mind of the electorate. And even right now, certain constituents within ODM are saying, we are going to vote for William Ruto because you Murima people, you gave us William Ruto. We are going to give you back. Another people also saying, because Murima people, you celebrated Raila'S lost, now we are going to punish you by voting back for Ruto. Can't you get a sense over that issue? It means that the forthcoming election has been drawn on the basis of tribalism. When they will come back to the Kenya's people, they'll say, wale ni watu wa ukabila. Mnataka ukabila au mnataka Kenya moja? Watu wasema Kenya moja. That is how they are playing with the minds of the electorates. In my view, it has got nothing. The issue of when people of Mulima were celebrating when lost, it has got nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the electorate. It has the people who have achieved, and the people are now happy at the political class because they have managed to divide us as Kenyans along the tribal line. You know, our division is their strength, but our unity is their weakness. Provided we are divided as a nation, they will rule forever. But when we are united strongly as a nation against them, they can never rule us. You know, a united minority can manage a divided majority. But once the divided majority is united, these people will send them home even tomorrow if we are united. But they have really succeeded, and it's very unfortunate for Kenyan people that these people are going to rule us because they have manipulated us and have succeeded to divide us along our tribe.
Okay, thank you so much, Makubura. I want to just bring you in as I read what I quote what Cherargei, the senator for Nandi, said. We must now fully implement the NADCO report by amending the constitution to create the office of the prime minister and allow Raila Odinga to serve Kenyans in that capacity. This is the only way we can appreciate and reward him. So when these amendments are being done, or how, what about the needs for the people? You know, needs for the people. As you weigh on that, let me also take this opportunity to thank our good friend Gitonga. Hi, Brother Benson and the Gen Z Zote. We are good. Just let us know how you are doing, and we will so much appreciate. And Gitonga says we must stand as young people, sio kupangwa na hizi familia since independence. Gitonga goes on and says, say no to tribalism and let's fight for better Kenya. So that is what everybody is talking about. Me good. Makubura, can you weigh your thoughts on the questions that I asked, please?
Just like Migudas put it, I would also say that whatever is currently playing on is a pure game, a game that is well known by the political class. They use this kind of comments and this kind of PR to just to bring up people's emotion. And they've been in this game for quite some time. They know that when such kind of comments, the comments that we are seeing, both from the side of the president, the side of Raila, and the side of the other side that is led by Kalonzo and Kashagwa, they are simply trying to prepare for the next election, and they're trying to come up with a narrative that would be used by them to easily convince the people. So what I can say is that the same style of politics was used. If you remember, during the BBI, Ruto was then the deputy, and he was very particular. What we are going to fight for, according to him, we are going to fight for the people of Kenya. Wale wa chini, wale watu wa mboga, watu Mama Mboga, Boda Boda, and all those people, that we should not waste our time trying to create positions for the political class. And that thing rode so well, and it went and got into the minds of the people. When they went to the field to campaign, the
Yeah.
people had already known what they wanted to hear, and they had tested the waters, and the waters were quite quiet or calm for them. They used the same narrative and got into the people by just convincing them that what we want is a government that is going to ensure that your lives are well taken care of, a government that considers the people from the low background, a government that considers people from the low earning class. And that is what made the president to get the support that he got. The same is what is happening. So it is upon the people of Kenya to know whether it is right for them to choose sides. It is upon them to know if the tribal line that is being created by the political class is what is right for them. It is also upon the people of Kenya to make decisions whether the comments and the narratives and the stories that are being peddled by the political class are really worth listening to, because that would then mean, and that would uh, that is part of what would be used by the political class to get into government. And if we look into those issues without critically analyzing them and seeing the facts out of them, then we'll realize that come 2028 we'll be in a government that is not really pro people, a government that was formed based on issues which are not really helping the people of Kenya.
Okay, thank you so much. Miguda, I want you to weigh your thoughts, especially looking at some of the comments that members of parliament were saying that, okay, because we've lost as a country, we need, as the East African bloc should depart from AUC, from Africa, especially Africa Union, not to participate in such activities just because as a country we lost. What does it view us, or what map does it put us on the world, especially with our neighbors like Uganda, Tanzania, those who are in the East Africa, whereby now the leaders who are people who are seen to be are the ones who are implementing good laws are saying now we need to find a way of exiting from the Africa. Yet we are talking about Pan-Africanism.
That is, in my view, those legislatures, their point is far-fetched because we were in a contest. So if we could have won, we could have won, we could have not petitioned to withdraw from the African Union. That is just one way of protesting the results.
Yeah.
And it's very normal. It's one way of mourning. You can mourn, you can protest, you can do whatever you want to do, you can say whatever you want to say. But the fact is history. Raila was never elected the AUC chairperson in Addis Ababa. Mahmoud was elected. Even come what may, Raila was never elected. It's high time they adjust. And people like Opondo Kaloma, the people who wrote it, people like Samata and the guys, I read their tweets. These are the people who have been lying to Raila. These are the people who have been in the inner circle. Now they are lying to Raila that we should withdraw from the AUC as a member state because Raila has lost. Losing for Raila is not more important in the AUC. The role AUC is playing in the country is more important than Raila being the AUC chairperson, because even within the AUC commission, there are many Kenyans who are employed diplomatically. Even there are foreign policies which they are how Kenya state get from being a member state of the AUC commission. Therefore, we don't need to argue on those political. Those are just ways of protesting the result. We understand that they can protest the result, but I can't advise the issue of people withdrawing from the AUC because someone has lost. It was a contest. Raila himself conceded defeat. Raila never uttered those issues. These lawmakers, they are just uttering these issues they want to make Raila happy that they supported Raila to the last man. And even at the point of death, now he has lost. they are still with him. You know that people will lie to you that we are with you even to your
They
grave,
want to make,
but you are going to be buried.
let me ask you, do they want to make the right honorable happy, or they want to make the fan base where they are coming from? Because when you look at especially those who are making that pronouncement were coming from a particular region, um, and do they want to be very relevant to the support or the fan base, or to be good to the right honorable prime minister? Because right honorable prime minister, as you said, considered the defeat, which means he understands that this was a competition, and he has lost, and life has to go on.
Yeah, there was a time difference. The people make a comment before Raila conceded. The people, those two legislators, they commented immediately after Raila was dropped out. They commented immediately that we need to withdraw and make such contest. Then Raila came and conceded later after around 8 hours. That could have made the difference. But they wanted to please Raila before Raila conceded that we were with you up last minute, and even after you have lost, we are still with you because your interest was never served in the AUC. Therefore, let us withdraw. Let us bolt out as a country. They were trying to die with Raila. At the same time, they were trying to appeal to their support base and their constituents that we were with the Baba at Addis even after he lost the election. We are still with him to an extent that we want to petition for the withdrawal of Kenya from the AUC member state because our candidate never won. That is not how a leader should reason at the expense of the nation, because the nation supersedes Opondo Kaluma interests. The nation supersedes Raila interests. The nation is much ahead of Raila. We cannot prioritize Raila at the expense of the nation. The nation must come first, then Raila. In my view, these legislatures, and let me tell you this one, maybe they are not on the ground. They think that is the old days whereby you can just sing somebody, you praise somebody, then you are not delivering to the people, then you will be elected. It's going to work differently, because if you ask the young people from Mabei town, the Kanyada people, that what is wrong with this your MP? They will say we don't understand him, even us. And people say these are the people who have been lying to Raila. They have been in the Raila circle. If Raila has such people in his circle, then you can blame them that is the reason why Raila has been losing all through. Because the people in Raila's circles, they are just about their interests, provided they have been given tickets, they don't care. Whether Raila wins or Raila loses, they don't care. Right now, they are just fighting for their tickets. And let me tell you a story. There was a time when we had, after 2013 elections, after the 11th parliament, there was a time whereby the coalition went for a demonstration, and certain MP was lying outside parliament with an expensive suit. And he was asked by colleagues, what's wrong with you? Why do you lie down with this expensive suit? Then he responded to those colleagues that I'm looking for a ticket for 2027. I must be seen down on the floor, lying with my constituents. Raila must recognize me that I was lying with the demonstration with an expensive suit. Then I'll be given a ticket. So for them, look at how these leaders are. For them, just doing those demonstrations, lying down on the street, uh, going to the demonstrate the police, but you are not legislating, you are not representing, you are not oversighting, which is the primary role which you are permitted by the people when they voted for you. You are only interested in getting a ticket and playing those games which are outdated just by some of MPs, they can just abuse the head of state for them to be given a ticket. And that's how Kenyans are getting it wrong. And that there is the problem Rigathi Gachagua was having with the MPs from Kenya, that some of them never qualified, were just given ticket based on the grounds that they could abuse Raila, they could demonstrate how Raila is evil, and they were issued tickets. Same to the Odinga camp. There are some MPs who they're just sycophants and loyalists. They are not doing anything, and they don't understand the role of the legislature. They just depend their sycophancy and their loyalty to be issued tickets. That is the language we are speaking as the new generation, that we are not interested of you being a sycophant or you being a loyalist or whatever drama you want to play. We want to see you legislating, we want to see you oversighting, we want to see you representing. At the same time, we want to see you always defending the interests of the people and defending the constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. Minus those criteria, if anyone never qualify for those things, in my view, we are sorry. We are not going to vote for such people. We don't care, even if they will get to parliament, but they will not get to parliament with our votes. They will get to parliament at the post vote, but not the younger generation vote.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. Let me engage you in this. Looking at what has really happened, let me read this before I ask you a question. This is from our good friend Gitonga. Wanatubeba Ufala as they steal billions for their children, and we are here fighting eti mtu wetu. How do we gain wajinga sisi? So those are some of the questions and the conversation that we need to have. And if you're there on the comment section and you want to share your view, you are highly welcome. And also you can become part of the bigger channel here, Brother Benson Media, by just subscribing, and we will thank you so much for your contribution. Makobura, when you look at the entire process, especially being that we were offering our candidate for the second time, because there was the Amina Mohammed, and now this one. And you find that after us, we lost the Amina Mohammed, then again, now we've lost the one with the Raila Amolo Odinga. And when you go to social media, you find people are saying how Uhuru Kenyatta might have played a role in the Raila Odinga defeat. Do we as a country learn, and evaluate ourselves and look at where did we go wrong in the first place? And this is the second time we are also going wrong. What if we get a chance for the third time? How can we carry out ourselves, or it is going just to be politics as usual?
Okay. I would like to say that, of course, Raila had a higher chances of clinching this seat. It's only unfortunate that there are things that played up. And I think the same, if you can remember during the time of Amina Mohammed, she also won in the first 2 rounds, I think so. And then from the third onward, that is when she lost. That's a similar thing that we also saw with Raila. And maybe what I can say is that there are so many things that are supposed to be looked into. Partly, first, maybe the issue of the conflict in DRC might have made it impossible for him to succeed, because remember, DRC is part of the East African community. Again, they're part of SADC, similarly Tanzania as well. And the letter that came from the SADC community, unity, was very clear that they are supporting one of them, that was the Madagascar candidate. If you do that analysis, you'll realize that in the first round and the second round that Raila was leading, he was leading with most of the eastern countries and the western countries, and the Djiboutian candidate was, winning, or was being supported by most of them, the northeastern and the francophone countries. So when the Djibouti candidate dropped, we saw that more of those who had voted for him shifted and then decided to vote for the Djibouti candidate. And that clearly shows that the letter that had been received from the SADC was really a threat to Raila, and that played part. And again, the war that we've been seeing in DRC, where the president of DRC and the SADC community, they were seeing or imagining that Kenya might be having part or supporting a government of Rwanda in that war. So partly that played a role, and of course the Francophones, there are quite many, with the support of the few, the southern part countries. Of course, it was difficult for Raila to win, but what I can say is that he had a good chance if there wasn't any issue with the letter that came from the southern part of Africa, then there's a possibility he might have won. That is my take. Maybe Miguda, you can also give your take.
But I've said I've already contributed.
Okay, thank you. Maybe something else that you can give your opinion. We talked about it yesterday, but I want us to just give our take again. The opposition leader of Uganda. Uganda is part of East Africa, and of course they have their own constitution. And from what we are seeing in the internet or social media, the opposition leader of Uganda is not in good health, being told that he's been on a hunger strike for some days, and that has affected his health. And if you look at, the reasons why he's being detained, part of them, I'm not a Ugandan, I'm not so 100% sure, but I can say that they're not legitimate reasons to get hold of someone who is just having a different opinion on how to govern a country. What is your take on what is going on over there? And specifically, there was a tweet, or if you go to Bobby Wine, who is also a Ugandan opposition leader, he talked about it. He said very well that they were planning to take him to the hospital. I don't know whether, I think he was taken to the hospital. And if you also saw the photos that were circulating on social media, they are not really good photos, especially someone of the caliber of Dr. Keza. What do you have to say about that?
Okay. He's a basically the current opposition leader of Uganda. He had a request so that his charges can be transferred from court martial to civil court. And I think that request was granted. And now he's going to be charged or to be heard in civil court, unlike being heard in the court martial. That request was granted. But also we understand that he went for a hunger strike, whereby he never wanted to eat. And whenever he never wanted to eat, it means like it's not good for his health. Someone of his age should be eating. There's no need for him not to eat, even under custody, because he has a right to live. But there's a problem with the current success of Museveni, General Muhoozi. General Muhoozi is playing hard, and even we have read some of the tweets on the Express say that where he can decide to hang, Besigye. And when he made the decision to hang Besigye, will hang the Besigye the day broad light. He will not hang Besigye at night. Those are just threats in my view, but we understand that we have moved from those eras whereby people could be tortured, people could be undermined, the right to life could be undermined. And right to life is universally, it's part of the international laws. It's cut across the nation. It's not exclusively only for the Kenya and the countries. It also go beyond Uganda. I don't support that issue, but we understand at the same time, people have their problems domestically. People have different problems. Like our problem in Kenya is not the problem in Uganda. The Uganda problem is not our problem. As we're just interested that we should stabilize our politics and our economy. But because they are neighboring country and they are closer to us, we should be concerned because the next time you don't know whether that problem could land to this country. But the worst part of it that he was abducted in Kenya. That's the worst part of it. If you could be been abducted in their country, you could have not been interested. But when he was abducted in the country and transferred to the court martial in the Uganda, that is was not good as a country because it means that we are not even safe. Even you and me, we are not safe because you can be abducted anytime with anybody without knowing, and you can find yourself whatever they want to take. That's why we are still condemning this issue of abduction. And it was not good for him to be abducted in a sovereign state. Kenya is a sovereign state, and we have to defend our sovereignty. We have to defend our territorial integrity. We have to defend our independence as a country. Therefore, any state cannot come and influence our independence or our sovereignty. And also, we should not interfere with any citizenship of other states whenever they're in this country. We should protect them because it cut across the border. It cuts multilaterally and also internationally or bilaterally. It cut across. Therefore, in my view, the act was not good, and the way it's being currently in custody is also not good. The way it's being hostage. And it's high time the Ugandan government should release him because even if he had got some charges, he can even be hard. He has that right to bail, right to bond. He can pay either, but he can argue his case outside the court, be it court martial, be civil martial. But in the court martial of Uganda, the sentences sometimes are very inhuman because they can hang you or they can torture you. And hanging somebody that is contrary to the provisions of the Bills of Rights, contrary to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, contrary to the civil and political rights of someone, contrary to the core rights like right to life is being interfered or infringed by a state, and state is the one who should protect that right. That is how ridiculous it is, in my view. And this issue of okay, let me answer this one from James O'Connor. How did I read the ground when I traveled with Team Raila to Addis? And I've stated that one very clearly. Me, I'm a realist. I speak my mind without any fear of any contradiction. The real ground or the people, the entourage of Raila, the only people who want Raila to win the AUC were the people from Ruto camp, particularly the Kalenjin nation. But Luos who are elected leaders never wanted Raila to win AUC because they knew very well once Raila is gone, they are going to be replaced by fresh bloods. They are used to Raila is going to give them free tickets. Well, whether they are buying those tickets, I don't care. But they are used that they usually their hands are being carried to the people and they are singing Machungwa Nisita, 6 piece. That's why they want Raila to fail to come back and assist them. That was among the elected leaders. But in the nation, the young people of that region also were very happy because they saw it that it was not good for someone to, and the reality is, why was Ruto taking Raila to AUC? He was simply Raila to AUC so that he can remain in Kenya and control everything, and that is why we say no. Let it, even it can be a game that was played by Raila. And you can't do, because this game, Raila is so not stupid to play a game. You can also decide that let me decide to be runners up and come back to the country because these people think that I'm a junior. I'm a veteran in this field because Ruto was playing politics with Baba. Baba has also to play back, and he has hit Ruto very hardly. And that's the nature of the politics. You don't show your opponent your card. You add your card up to the last minute. The ground currently is happy because someone's plan has not worked. Ruto's plan has not worked. He wanted to take Raila out of the country so that he can plan everything, but that did not happen. And that is how Raila IQ sometimes is at optimum because he can play to your game out of the last minute, but he can outshine that your game. And that's actually what might have played in this thing, that they wanted to use Raila like a kid. And Raila said, no, I'll just walk through this tightrope, but I know where I'll drop. And he disappointed them last minute, because people are the people who are crying at the people who are crying at the people from the Kalenjin nation. They have even those MPs have even suggested that let us bring in the position of prime minister to accommodate him. We have not talked about the position of prime minister. The people who are talking about the position of the prime minister are the people who have been hit hardly by these things of Raila losing. Other people who don't care about prime minister, they don't care about Raila losing. The people who wanted to send Raila out of the country are the people who have been hit back. And that's how politics work. Raila could have played that way. Makubura, back to you.
Okay, fine, thank you. As Ipsekona is saying, we need we need proof. Raila supporters should embrace the laws. Raila himself has embraced it because he has come back to better things. Okay, maybe Gypsy Corner, you can tell us how different is going to better things. Anyway, yeah. So that was nice. Thank you for just giving us an overview of what is happening in Uganda. Maybe what I can say about the opposition leader in Uganda, Dr. Besigye, I think he has also stood by the people, by the opposition side of Uganda. But I also think that it is not right for any leader who is in power to just misuse power to make those who are having a different opinion look so small before them and before the people. Positions are there, but again, these are positions that can, you can be a leader today, you can be president today, tomorrow something else might happen. And if you are in that position, what you do with power can sometimes come back. Just like Orengo has been saying that sometimes those who consistently, supported a government, or those who have consistently been in power, they sometimes misuse power. And sometimes things do change. And if they change, they should know that things automatically can change. They can change differently, and the exact people that they're making their life tough now can be in the positions that they are currently holding. So it is upon them to make the right choices and to know that power is transient and power is something that comes and goes. So the president of Uganda should know that the position that is currently occupying or is he held today, he'll never be there forever. Moi was here. We saw him. We heard of him. Came and went. He was a very powerful president. Ministers came and went. They were very powerful. So maybe in Uganda again, Idi Amin was a very powerful person, a powerful president. He came and went. So you should know. History sometimes is a good teacher. Asili is saying Raila has been losing ever since. So me, I don't see his loss as a big deal. But still, SADC position was based on Uhuru's action. Okay, that is the comment of Asili 2TV. I want to take this opportunity now to just give my final, allow Miguda to give his final remarks before we close. Miguda.
My final thought, I would just like to say the issue of AUC is history. Raila lost, Raila conceded. Those are the reality we have right now. whether he was betrayed or whether he was betrayed by that is not making sense, because Raila himself conceded defeat and he has never blamed anybody, and he was the one who was in that competition. We were never there. If he's not blaming anybody, then who is asked to blame anyone? Those are just political narratives which are being driven by those who surround Raila and Ruto. They want to get a scapegoat. They have been looking for these scapegoats. They try Ruto, it's not working. They try the Uhuru, it's not working. They're just trying many other things. But even if he lost because of someone's influence, that is competition. He could have barred that person from influencing other people. But what is most important in my final thought, Raila has never wanted to become president. Raila has never wanted to become whatever you want. It is the people want him to be, but with him, he never want to become, because he doesn't even care. He's ever happy, even after losing. Once Raila becomes the president, if Raila could have been elected in 2007 and he could have done his 2 terms, right now Raila could be irrelevant. But Raila will always want relevance. So what do? If you want relevancy, you don't get into that position. Because once you get into that position, you will be relevant, because people don't talk about Kibaki, people don't talk about Uhuru much, people don't talk about, and Raila is at 80. People are still discussing Raila with that trajectory point of 2027, whether he's going to support Ruto, whether he's going to support whoever, whether he's going to run, because he has never become the president. If he could have become president, right now we could have not have those trajectory views with Raila, because he could have done his part and he could have gone on. So in my own view, just like Jaramogi never wanted to become president, because Jaramogi, once if he could have become president, we could have not had Jaramogi up to late 1994. Because Jaramogi, the only time he never ran is 97 after his demise. By 92, he was on the ballot before 2 years to his demise. Same as Raila. If Raila could be the AUC, he could immediately become irrelevant. But that is what he doesn't want to lose, that relevancy. He wants to be relevant. Up to that time, that God will say, Bab, enough is enough. But for now, I can assure you that Raila has never want to become president, and is not even interested. He just want to control people the way he has those people, and also try to be part of the negotiation table for his political life. And it's working perfect for him. So let us not blame people here, because this is why I don't want to blame people. If you blame people, you will be used as a sacrificial lamb. The people who try to defend Raila at Bomas of Kenya, the HRF4, they went public into the media, tried to defend Raila. But when that hour came, they were slaughtered. Raila never defended them. They were compelled to resign, and they resigned against their will. But right now, the person who stole Raila victory is with Raila in the bed. But the people who are trying to protect Raila's victory at Bomas are not in their job. Look at how that scenario was. That's why you don't need to put this politics too much into your heart, too much to an extent that is going to kill you. Because the person you are fighting for doesn't even care about you, doesn't even know whether you are existing or not. You should just try to be on the right side of the history by protecting the right of the people, and you're right, same time protecting the law. Raila also, some people died in 2017, and later he shook hands with Uhuru Kenyatta, and they become buddies. The people are trying to defend the 2017, even people like David Maraga, who nullified the elections of Uhuru Kenyatta. Raila has never recognized them. That is nonsensical. And that's why I agree with what CJ Martha Koome stated when he was called into the Spice FM. And I want to quote CJ Koome. CJ Koome stated very clearly that the problem with the Kenyan politics is that they are trying to go for a judicial solution for a political problem. The political problem can be solved politically, unlike going through the judiciary, because most of these cases that have gone to the Supreme Court about the presidential election petition, at the end of the day, these two principles look for themselves, then they shook hands. It means that why do we spend much time to go to Supreme Court knowing very well that there will be handshake? Why do we spend so much time going to court knowing that there is going to be a broad-based government. Why do we spend so much time dying and Kenyans are killed left, right, and center? We know very well at the end of the day, there's going to be a coalition government. That is has been the problem of the country, that the politicians know very well that how they can meet after. Therefore, as a young person, as a patriot, never get involved too much into their problems, because after you try to defend them, the last man, they will abandon you when they meet, because with them, they are just like cousins. Their interests, once merged, they are together. When their interests diverge, they don't care who is dying, who is not dying. And that will be my advice, Makubura. Back to you. See you next time, our viewers. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Migoda. To our viewers, I also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of Brenda Obedi, Judith Karuitha, Gypsy Corner, Mr. Gitonga, thank you so much. Asili 2 TV and everyone who joined. I want to take this opportunity to really say a big thank you. If you're new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe to the channel, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us and we'll really appreciate. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed evening, blessed morning, a blessed